Well, changes 3 years after a homeless man froze to death. Thomas Pauley was a convicted sex offender and couldn't get into a homeless shelter because of it. Now, a federal judge says our state's sex offender law is wrong. Sex offenders should be able to stay at homeless shelters even if they are too close to schools. 24 Hour News 8's Ken Kolker is live on South Division in Grand Rapids where Pauley died. Ken?
Yeah, Marley. Thomas Pauley died outside this old Radiator shop on South Division in Grand Rapids without a home and without a legal chance to stay at a homeless shelter.
And when I found him in the morning, he was crouched down on his hands and knees right here next to a van.
It was January 2009 with temperatures below zero. But 52-year-old Thomas Pauley had nowhere to stay. Guiding Light Mission had turned him away because he had been convicted 18 years earlier of sexual contact with a preteen girl.
Somebody shouldn't have to die just because it gets cold and he's not allowed in a place.
State law didn't allow registered sex offenders to stay at Guiding Light or the city's other two missions because they were too close to schools.
We're in the mission of saving lives. We're not interested in sending anyone out to die in the street. And so with great angst and regret, we did in the past have to turn people away.
It was Pauley's death that led to a federal lawsuit and to yesterday's ruling.
Mr. Pauley unfortunately had to die in the street and freeze to death to bring this tragedy to life.
The ruling by Judge Gordon Quist will allow sex offenders to spend the night in shelters even though schools and child care programs are nearby. In the downtown area, 28 of the 142 registered sex offenders list themselves as homeless.
Allowed for those who would otherwise be in jeopardy out on the street of freezing to death will have legal access to our shelter.
Mel Trotter, Degage, and 5 unidentified sex offenders filed the federal lawsuit in response to Pauley's death. As Quist wrote in his ruling, the case revolved around the definition of the word reside. He ruled it referred to a permanent home and that sex offenders could stay in shelters as long as it was night to night and as long as they left in the morning. Today, homeless advocates said they would open their shelters to sex offenders. And a homeless woman who stays at Degage Ministries Shelter for Women also applauded that ruling.
They're people. God made them and they deserve to live just like everybody else and be treated just like everybody else, just that they don't touch any kids. There's no kids in the Degages or Mel Trotters anyways that they can touch.
Now, we spoke today to officials at Catholic Central High School and at a Child Development Center. Both of them are very near Guiding Light Mission. The woman at the Child Development Center said she could not comment on this because she hadn't reviewed the ruling. The woman at the Catholic Diocese said that they would have to, quote unquote, live with this ruling. Live in Grand Rapids, Ken Kolker, 24 Hour News 8.